We are live. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to take this opportunity to really just kind of celebrate you, learn more about you. I've had the joy of getting to know you over the years and be able to work alongside you. And I just wanted to share with the world what you've been up to, what your journey has been, and go from there.
All right.
So I know we've got a little bit of a delay, so let me know if hopefully this all comes through smoothly. Can you hear me okay on your end, Jer?
Yep, I can hear you clear.
Okay, awesome. Well, I wanted to start off by just, give a little background. You've been, consistently selling, 30 plus homes a year? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, the first year was 20, and then I would say the peak was probably last year, right around 38.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
and
great.
I've been at it almost 7 years now, give or take.
Awesome. And I think it's really cool, and I think it's really telling, the fact that we're in this, real estate market right now that's dramatically shifting from what it has been for a while now. And I would consider this to be, what I would call a professionals market that we're now entering into. And you are really showing up in that way as the professional, and we really see a large gap form between professionals and people that have just been, kind of getting by and doing it. And it's been easy for the last several years as the market's just been insanely hot. You put a sign in the yard and homes sell with multiple offers for hundreds of thousands over asking. And yet we've really, really noticed a dramatic change recently locally here in the greater South Sound area for what's taking place. The market's kind of almost frozen in a lot of areas. And yet within that, you've sold 12 homes in the last month and a half, 45 days, call it.
Yeah, that's about right.
So I think that is very telling, Jeremy, of you as a professional, you knowing the market, knowing your craft, how to make things work. And I'd love to just kind of unpack that and introduce you more so people can hear your story here. So starting out, like what would you say it has been some of the secret sauce, if you will, that has allowed you to perform at the level you have been?
Good question. I mean, starting off just with like something foundational is your foundation. Having the wife that I do, taking care of our kids, allowing me to be in my lane during the day, being able to focus and be present. And that's actually like my word of the year is being present is kind of my thing for 2022. That with consistency and being paired with the team that we are. It creates a space for growth. It creates a space, for me to stay in my lane and nurture the relationships that I've been able to nurture that have turned into business. So there's quite a few factors. I mean, I can't just point at one.
That's awesome. And one of the other things I think is really remarkable to me and I really appreciate about you, and I want to share this because I know you're so humble and wouldn't say anything to anybody because that's just not how you operate. But I think it's very telling of your heart and how much you are here to serve others. It makes me tear up just thinking about this, Jer. You day in and day out for, has it been the last couple of years now, have been really showing up for your elderly grandfather that doesn't have anybody caring for him. And you are, it seemed like it's basically taken on an additional part-time job, if you will, and just being that person for your grandfather and taking him to his doctor's appointments, helping him through all sorts of things, helping him move, you name it.
Grocery shopping. Yeah. Late night calls. Yep.
Yeah, late night calls, just all of it. I mean, I just want to honor you for the way you've shown up for your grandfather in that. It's absolutely beautiful and says so much about who you are and your heart. So I want the world to know that about you, Jared, because it speaks volumes about the person that you are. So thank you for inspiring me in the way you have there.
Wear a couple different hats. So
yeah,
one of them.
Yeah. And on top of that, I know you've been building our mission here at the Hauer Home Team is building generational wealth through real estate, right?
Mhm.
And I know you are simultaneously, you've got what, 4 doors now on top of your primary residence?
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yeah, every year I'm like, wow, this probably be the last house that we purchase for a while, and then it's like 9 months later. Oh, I guess we're gonna purchase another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and getting crafty with it. Real estate is actually a pretty amazing thing. It's silly putty. It's whatever you want to make it. Somebody once said you can write real estate on a coconut as long as everybody agrees. Then we can move forward with it. And really that's kind of the beginning of it. But you can do so many things with it. It's unbelievable. I actually couldn't imagine my life without it, and you introducing it to me. So
I love it.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. You talk to me about your life before real estate. What were you doing then? What did it look like? And I'm sure people would love to hear kind of what was the precursor to the Jeremy Logar that we know today.
Yeah. Well, my previous life to real estate was a good life. It was a great life. It was very predictable. I start the day, and a lot of people know me that I was a expert Volvo technician for 10 years, 9 years, and there was a lot of predictability with that, a lot of comfort. However, it was also capped by the growth potential. So yeah, I mean, after meeting you at an open house, I don't know, 15 years ago now, and you're doing your due diligence to stay in touch with me, here we are. So yeah, I mean, it was a great life, and yet Kendall and I knew that we wanted to start a family, and it was going to be very interesting on how to do that without basically designing our life, if you will. So
yeah, because you had a big commute. You were commuting, what was it, Bellevue previously?
Yeah, it was about 3 hours round trip. So it was long. I actually did the math over like the 9 years. I could drive for 218 hours straight, 24 hours a day, for 8 months.
Wow.
Or no, drive. Yeah, I think that made sense. Anyhow, the math was there at one point, but yeah, it was a long time. And my only regret on that was I wish I would have invested in like Rosetta Stone or something, because then I would have been fluent in almost every language.
Nice. Well, one of the things I do admire about you has always been your consistency. I think that is like a superpower of yours. You are definitely far more consistent than I am or ever have been. And I just think that's really cool. So speak to us, those of us that maybe part of what we would like to, become more of and add more consistency to how we operate and handle things. Any tips or thoughts, like how do you be as consistent as you are, Jeremy?
I think it's about choice management. I mean, every single person throughout their day have so many distractions, and I would say being able to stay, like I said, stay in my lane, have a good detailed plan of what my day looks like, and then also what we do this 12-week year within our team. So having a good idea or having a plan in place and being able to follow that from week to week. And the 12-week year is designed to basically you do a year's worth of activities within 12 weeks within the business. And that's not just business, it's also personal. You lace out with personal goals. So it's just goal setting within 12 weeks. And so being present, being able to stay in my lane, and I'm a pretty conservative person when it comes to taking risk, even though some people may not agree with that. But yeah, I'm predictability is where I live. So
yeah. So speak to those of us when you say stay in your lane. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot of different things. For me, it's just work at what I'm good at. Just staying consistent with my routine.
And for you,
Mhm.
What does that typical routine look like that has allowed you to achieve the level of success that you have? Like, give me a glimpse. Sorry, I know I'm totally putting you on the spot here, but
Yeah.
what's a day in the life of, somebody like Jeremy Logar that is selling, a dozen homes over the last 45 days in this shifted market?
hmm Well, I can tell you like the number one thing. I guess every day is a little bit different. However, there are some milestones throughout my week that are already pre-planned. So that meaning, time to be on the phone, time to be making calls, checking in with clients, being there and having or presenting that customer service to our current clients, past clients, and future clients. Um, and then,
So
yep.
wait. Let me hear this, Jer. Did I hear this right? You have that much business going on, and yet you still taking care of your grandfather as well. You're a husband and a father to two great little kids, and yet you're still calling all those other people. You're not just involved in the transactions you have going on. So you are intentionally carving out time to be making calls to create future business, even amongst that. Is that
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I would say the majority of my calls, yeah, but the majority of my calls aren't even, I would say, business based, right? It's just cultivating relationships. It's just showing up for people where they need it. And I always think it's kind of a cheesy thing to say, and I say it all the time, but real estate, our mission, well, we have our mission as a team, but as far as the mindset and where I'm at with it is helping somebody with their goals, whatever that may be. The byproduct is typically helping somebody either buy or sell a property, because come to find out, people have to live somewhere, right?
Yep. Ain't that the truth? So being super real with me, Jared, like,
Yeah.
do you ever want to quit? Like, this isn't an easy industry to be in. It can be highly competitive. It's easy to potentially go, I'm going to go do this instead. When we're our own boss, so to speak, it can be so easy to not choose to do the things that you have shown up and performed in. Is that just who you are? Is that just how you operate? Or do you ever feel that need of, I don't want to do this, I want to quit?
No, do I want to quit real estate? Is that what the question is?
Yeah.
No. I actually find working and being in the real estate industry to be super rewarding. On top of that, I have an accountability team. One is 5 years old, one's 1.5, and the other one's my wife. So I have to be on. I have to work. I have to keep business going. The luxury of quitting isn't there for me, and not that I would to begin with. When somebody says I can't do something, that's what really lights my fire. That's really what gets me going. So for anybody that has ever said, "Oh, I don't think you can do this," or whatever it may be, like that's when I turn it. I'll just do it out of spite, just to show them I can do it. So,
and I think that's awesome too. Like, one of those things we hear a lot within the real estate industry is like, what's your disc profile? If you're going to be successful, you got to be a high D or a high I, and all these different behavioral, assessments about it. And it's all a bunch of bullshit. Like, there's certain truths. There's absolutely truth that it's going to be easier for some people than others based on, their unique behavior programming. But that's not what makes somebody successful in real estate. What makes someone successful in real estate is having a heart to serve people and having the grit to keep going when things are hard and you want to say, oh, like, I just want to be done for the day, or I just want to do something different, and saying, no, I'm going to persevere. And then it's amazing, all the abundance that comes out on the other side of that. When you truly do have that grit. And so I think that, like, you're a super high C, right? Which is like you're super compliant, you're you're super detailed. Anybody that talks to you about your incredible military truck or any automotive or boat problem they have, you will like have them like, what in the heck did Jeremy just say? Because you were like, the amount of knowledge you have about seems like everything blows me away. So that's just one of those things, I think, that like just anybody that doesn't fit that high D or high I personality profile, guess what? I'm one of those people too. I don't fit that personality profile either.
And we're both introverts.
Yeah, and we're both introverts. Guess what? Here we are representing the top 1% of realtors in the state of Washington.
Yeah.
And it doesn't define you, right?
Coming from two people that, well, what is it? Some of the best conversations happen in silence.
That's right.
You could drive for hours and not say a thing and be happy as can be.
All right. Another thing I love, like you've shared with me several times, you're part of multiple mastermind groups across the country. And I think it's kind of cool. And I have multiple thoughts on it, but it seems like on a regular basis, you'll come to be like, Chad, I just got out of another one of those mastermind groups and I felt like I was teaching everybody the whole time and got zero value out of that group, because like you already have like your systems that you work off of and how you go about things are already at a higher level than what the average realtor is working with, right? So I'd love for you to just kind of speak to that.
Well, first off, being part of those masterminds, it's not your average agent, right? So your average agent, it's usually based off of production. Your average agent sells 4 to 6 homes a year. And so to be part of this mastermind group, you're selling, at least 30, 34 homes a year. So they're not newbies. However, yes, we do contribute a lot to these masterminds. I wouldn't say teaching, but there's a lot of guidance and a lot of contribution. And I think what it is a lot of folks, they're not willing to change with the market. They're not willing to use technology and things like that to leverage. And I think that's what really sets us apart. I mean, it's not just me being part of these masterminds and having the answers or being able to improve other people's, somebody else's business. But it's us. I represent us as a team while I'm on these masterminds. And it's us as a team that are changing things, right? We're using different technologies. We're coming up with ideas. We're kind of being ahead of the curve, planning for the next market and not for the market that happened 3 or 4 years ago. Or for some agents, they're still running off things that happened 15 years ago. So there's a lot of things that take place within these masterminds, but I think it's fantastic to be able to contribute. I mean, that's one thing about being in real estate and being part of this team that has been probably one of the coolest things is kind of being in that leadership mindset and position to pour into other people. I think that's super, super cool.
That's awesome. And, and on the flip side, of the whole mastermind deal, don't get me wrong. Like, I know you still learn things and you're still like all ears and recognize that you've never got it all figured out. Right. And that's another thing when you look at, you're constantly growing, and that's something that I hope that you have seen and experienced. That is certainly my goal for anybody that is, part of our world here within the Hauer Home Team, that you're growing in all areas of your life, certainly your business, and probably more important than that is just personal development in general, because as we as individuals grow, everything around us improves, right? So I would love to hear what your experience has been. If you could share that with our audience. And by the way, Lindsay Emery just popped on and said, "Hey, miss you." We miss you too a ton, Linz. So we hope you are doing well in what is it, South Carolina these days?
Yeah, I heard she found a suitor.
Yes. Congratulations, Lindsay.
That's awesome.
Yes. So those of you looking in South Carolina for any real estate, Lindsay Emery is your gal. uh, anyway, so what was I talking about? I got sidetracked here. Um,
Yeah, as far
the
as like as far as learning from other people and taking away from those masterminds, yeah, there's some humility, of course, right? Like we're learning stuff every single day from everybody. Um, there's somebody, we cross paths with people every single day that have the ability to pour into us as well.
yeah, and when you look at your life specifically, how have you grown since you've been with us for 7 years here? How in what areas of your life have you grown? Can you give any examples? I would love for people to hear, because it's not just your business that you want to focus on, right? It's
Hmm.
you want to grow in your relationship with your wife Kendall. You want to grow in being as good of a father as you possibly can. You want to grow in your financial stewardship and your how you're managing the money that you've been trusted with, and
Hmm.
your physical health. All of these things are all so much part of it. How what have you experienced in the time that you've been part of our tribe here and part of our family?
Yeah, great question, and that's actually probably going to be one of the tougher questions to answer, um, and the longest answer, because I don't know there's a place I haven't grown. Um, it's been, I mean, I don't know who I would be if I didn't make the career change, or the change in direction, years ago. But as far as leadership, being able to, I touched on that. As far as leadership goes, I think that's been huge. Communication skills, another huge thing. Accountability, right? I didn't even know what the definition of accountability was until you asked me one day. You're like, Jared, what's your definition of accountability? I was like, I have not a clue. So, I mean, I would say all aspects, I've grown, and that's not just growing a business, being a better friend, but also being a husband and a good father, and surrounding myself with people that are uplifting. So I would say on all levels, it's
Nice.
it's it's touch. No, like I said, that would probably be one of the tougher questions to answer.
Yeah. So diving into just you've grown in every area of life. Your business has grown. Your financials have grown.
Hmm.
I know how humble you are, so I won't share, but you've done very, very well for yourself, when previously you were what, like, you were in debt before we met, right?
Oh
And
yeah, I remember $7,200 in credit card debt. Yeah.
yeah, and now it's amazing when you look at your net worth and your investments, and how you and Kendall, you know, are so responsible with the funds that you have and all of it. I think it's amazing. So one of the last things I think for the people watching this would be, what advice would you have for somebody that is feeling, maybe stuck, or that they aren't experiencing the level of growth that they want in their life, and know that there's so much more potential for them than what they're experiencing,
Hmm.
just based on your life experiences thus far. Any words of advice that you could share with us?
Um, I would say just surrounding myself, with people that are uplifting, have achieved more than I have, think at a higher level or a higher bandwidth. Um, Somebody that's already experienced something that you're looking to experience, and don't let fear stop you. Uh, Coming from the automotive industry, and then coming into an environment where you're basically, you're responsible for yourself, is polarizing. And when I was making the choice to get into real estate, I almost went blind in one eye because of the stress load. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I didn't know what it looked like. So I basically drove down a road that didn't have any lights on, and I was, basically walking through a door that I didn't know where it was going to lead. But I had confidence in myself. My wife had confidence in me, or in us, because I mean, this is also, a joint venture. And then you had confidence in me as well, and really poured into me and got me to where I am today. So thank you.
It's been a pleasure. You did the work. So lastly, I'm curious, what's next for you? What is your current growth focus at this time, Jeremy?
My current focus is continuing to be present. Right. I sound like a broken record here, but it's with the different hats that we're wearing, in order to be successful, is to be present where I'm at. If I'm here and thinking about something else, whatever I'm getting to my next step in my day, I didn't put enough time into where I was earlier. So now I'm thinking about what I didn't do. Right. And it's a big waste of time. So it's just focus time. If I'm being task oriented that day, I'm moving on to that next thing, and just being focused there.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically it. Yeah. Super. There's really no secret. So
live in the now.
Live in the now. In
the words of Wayne from Wayne's World. All right. So cool. Well, for those of you watching, I would just invite you, if you are feeling like you want to level up in your business, in life in general, I would welcome the opportunity for a conversation. You can shoot me a message on, Facebook or wherever, and reach out. I'd love to talk. That's really my passion, is helping grow and develop people around me. I get such a kick out of pouring into people in that way, and seeing how it just makes such a huge generational impact. So we have some training events coming up as well later this month. So if you're interested in attending those, for business planning, for the year we're jumping into, we want to be thinking, 90 days ahead. So here we are. We're recording this on October 4th. So that's what? We're like January 4th. That means, hey, guess what? This is 90 days ahead is kind of the real estate time frame. So we should be thinking and behaving for what we expect to see for our real estate business in the year 2023 now, right? So we can help equip you for that and get you set up for success there. And I just appreciate your time, Jeremy, and who you are, what you've been doing. And it's truly an honor to be able to be in business with you, my friend.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, Chad.
All right. I will talk with you all later.
See ya.
See ya.